Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Apex Season 4. We have 3 more debuts for you and 1 returning team. Bellum are going to try their hand at victory one more time. We're going to introduce Conbox as well as Lunatic High and MVP Space. I am Max Alex Anderson. This is Christopher Papa Smithy Smith, and we've got another day of Apex, and it might be a short one.
True, it could be a 3-0-3-0, but it does feel like this is the first day of the season in some ways. You know, some people would say because Lunatic High, finally, the players from Team Korea have returned so we can get the re-debut of our Season 2, Season 3 back-to-back champions. But Atlas, for me, it's the first day of the season because we get our snappy new suits and
feel
shirts.
So fancy.
I've got a pretty rockin' tie on, so I'm feeling good about Overwatch. And I'm really excited to see what Lunatic High make of the meta that seems Doomfist-orientated, but not necessarily Doomfist-dominated just yet.
And I feel like even in our first match, which is going to be Conbox Spirit taking on Bellum, or Bellum, if you want to pronounce it phonetically, not entirely sure how that one works, but Bellum seems to be happening.
Our announcer has decided it's Bellum, so we're going with Bellum.
Is it Bellum? Like we're pronouncing it like it is actually an element? Is that what's happening?
I don't have all the information, Atlas.
The second element of the meta franchise. But these are your groups, ladies and gentlemen. What I was going to say is I'm excited to see what Conbox is going to show us, because this was a team that had Twilight in the past, no longer on the roster unfortunately, but they were the Sombra bringers into the Season 3 Apex meta, so excited to see whether they're going to be switching things up and making some changes here against Bellum.
They've made some big changes, Atlas. They lost the Spirit and the T6. Both of them are gone. They are just Conbox, Contents Box. It stands for no longer do they have a second name, but like you say, they were always kind of this bogey team for the top teams who wanted to avoid them. If you look back at the Season 3 group draw show for the second round, every team was like, I don't know about Conbox, I want to stay away. We will get them in our first match against a team, Bellum or Bellum, who really did struggle, Atlas. They really looked like they were perhaps going to be our lowest placed team, and that's in a league with Flashlock's also struggling. So it'd be a big story if Bellum could pick up their first map victory even. A match victory would be just complete amazingness for them. And then in our second match that we'll look forward to, we get to see which Lunatic High is coming, because they have 8 players on the roster. Who are you on the roster now? An active player on the roster as far as we know. Lite Jun is back as well, so the starting 6 is going to be a story in and of itself.
Yeah, who is going to be playing for Lunatic High, but we still do have one best of 5 to come in before that, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see what Conbox have switched up as well, because their roster is 50% changed, and we'll see, because their tagline still seems to be unpredictability, trying to mix up the meta, make those changes, and they still have that formidable DPS line in Architect and Asher as well. Asher has been on and off, up and down in Season 3, but they really gave Lunatic High a run for their money in their last game in the round of 8 that we saw them. Conbox were looking strong, even though the scoreline says 3-1 in favor of Lunatic High. Some of those maps went incredibly long, and it felt like in the end it was just a war of attrition that Lunatic High were able to take over the top.
And in the end of the day, it feels like even stiffer opposition for Bellum, who played X6 Gaming in their first match of the season, another team that made it through to the top 8. Conbox was the team, like you say, that were no pushovers, even for our eventual champions. So, going to be tough opposition for Sansom and friends, Sansom fans. So that's a Bellum fan in the crowd.
Good to know that they do certainly have some fans. Wonder whether some of them have come over from Meta Athena as well, who certainly were established already.
And let's be real. Some of the fans are here to watch Lunatic High later. Lunatic High, even just before the stream went live, we have the raffle come through, and Who Are You was the representative from Lunatic High, and there were a fair few Lunatic High fans. Very excited.
I was like sitting up here doing some last-minute research.
and
I was just sitting up here, and then all of a sudden there were screaming women just in the audience. I was about to say children, which doesn't really sound right, but it was high-pitched, and which is not what we're necessarily used to, although I guess we are after a season or two. But still, like, that many women in the audience screaming about esports is extraordinarily exciting.
It's a career special.
Yeah.
You know, you've been here long enough now to sample from all the different esports. Same story. Crowds are female-dominated, especially for Overwatch. Even more dominated than League of Legends, that has a very large female fandom as well. Those fans are about to get excited, though, as we have our first match of the day.
Yeah, we are going to introduce the teams as well. So Bellum and, of course, Conbox coming out on stage.
Overwatch Apex Season 4, energized by Hot 6. Round Robin. Today's matchup, Bellum, Conbox.
And Bellum have a very difficult group on top of this post. They did lose to X6 Gaming, who difficult opposition in unto themselves, but the only team that we haven't revealed from this group thus far into Season 4, as far as them actually playing a map, is LW Blue. Definitely a formidable foe there as well. So it feels like already you've got Bellum playing spoiler against one of the two teams that is going to fall out, that are in the upper echelon here at Apex.
And look, that will be confirmed by the end of the day. If they lose to Conbox, they are basically eliminated from the tournament already. So
exactly.
Kind of inglorious to have that happen in the first 4 match days of the season. But they are the only the only team to have played twice. See the coaches come through with a bit of showmanship here between the Conbox and Bellum coaches. And let's zoom out for a second, Atlas. Remember that the Meta organization is 0-6 so far in map score after Athena also went down 3-0. So they're also fighting for the respect of their organization.
Yeah, going to be difficult. Meta Athena also in a difficult group as well. I mean,
they're all difficult, Atlas. Where's the easy group?
Well, actually, if you have a look,
Hold
Group
on.
C would be the one. As, once again, Freak of Freaks looking like they're in a pretty good position. But Bellum, not so much. They are going to be playing for their first map win, though. We'll see whether they are going to be able to take it here against Conbox, or whether Conbox are going to impress us with some of their new styles, because there are a lot of things that we will definitely learn from both of these teams after this match is complete.
Bellum have no substitutes, so it's the same 6-man roster that was fielded against X6 Gaming on Monday, so only a few days to strategize for their new opponents, Conbox, who already are a bit of a mystery when it comes to their read on the meta. They were so innovative in the previous season. Dahim with a wave to the fans. Soldier 76 was one of the highlights for this squad. Last time out, there weren't too many, sadly, as they were run over by X6 Gaming.
CCJ also had a few popping off moments
on Tracer,
on the old Tracer, so did look okay. But talking of hero picks, no Sombra to be seen, no Doomfist to be seen, and as far as shakeups, it hasn't been Bellum that's been trying their hand at any of the differences in the meta. It's been very standard, very 2-2-2, no real change.
And well, we'll see today if they can adjust some of those hero pools. Like you say, they weren't doing a lot of hero switching like we might see from Conbox on your screen. So 3 new members come in. Gamsu, who alongside Zunba in Season 1 was the fearsome tank duo that defined at the time Conbox T6. No longer on the roster. The captain has retired, or at least stepped away from Overwatch for Season 4. End result is that OGE and Clover are their 2 tanks this season, both of them coming over from the NC Foxes. So NC Foxes played on Wednesday. Their 2 tanks imported here. We'll see if they have some synergy together to actually refine the tank lineup. And then also Twilight, the person who was the really big Sombra player, the first of the supports to switch over to the Sombra as dominantly. We always used to say there may be better Sombra players, but the team, and he in particular, played the most Sombra, and they were very adept at playing Sombra comps. Now Twilight is gone, and we get a new idea with Revenge in the Ana role, or at least the non-Lucio support.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that you brought up the tanks here as well, because Clover is sort of the resident diva player, but he sees himself as the Zarya player. So are we going to see more Zarya from this team? Could this be where Conbox decide to take us as far as their adaptation of the meta? And seeing where things go, we'll see our first control map here, and it is going to be Oasis. And this was actually where Conbox decided to debut the Twilight Sombra, if I remember, all the way back in earlier times.
You are correct, but it is also the map that Bellum was dealt as their first control point and their first map in Apex Season 4 as well. It's kind of the killing fields for X6 Gaming on the day, so they'll want a better performance and specifically a better first map than they were able to against X6.
And it could be good here for Bellum as well, because they've already seen this map. This is their second time up on this stage, and can they now have a revenge performance against a different opponent, and an opponent that we don't necessarily have a read on yet in Conbox. Conbox wanting to show us some new strategies, and Bellum looking to try and get themselves a good foot forward here in this series.
See if Santam and CCJ can step up, see if they can outduo Asher and Architect. They're still there for Conbox, and I imagine they'll be the ones they try to rely on.
Let's do it. Let's get to Oasis for map number 1 of the day.
Get it.
Well, no one's really looking to get into it as far as the fan cheers are concerned, but this is only map number 1, Papa Smithy. I think we will have some plays to get everyone excited, and the next cheer could be the one.
I know, I feel like there's a lot of people in the fans, but like I said, we've got some undercover agents here,
Yeah,
Atlas,
we most
waiting and
certainly
hoping
do.
they're going to get to watch Lunatic High.
They could have at
second
least
up.
got their voices ready for Lunatic High, you know? Like,
But if they cheer for another team, maybe their fandom of Lunatic High is diminished, Atlas.
yeah, and maybe there's some, like, you know, Lunatic High spies in the audience saying, oh, yeah, you are ready to flip over to the other side. You're not good enough.
So no changes for Bellum when it comes to hero picks, sticking with the Tracer, Soldier, and the duo DPS, the 2-2-2, whereas Conbox, looking at them, Architect will be running with the Genji that he made very famous in Season 3.
Yep. We see the dive in here. Dahim able to at least survive this time. No worries at all. And actually some decent peel for the Soldier 76.
LG just died in his debut. Just dived in too heavily and just didn't have the backup or healing to stay alive. So it's actually Bellum dominated in the kill field, and they have to peel away this Conbox. First capture over to Bellum.
Yeah, real nice. Just get rid of the front line and move forward. Was certainly a strategy that was pretty much taken by everyone at the end of Season 3.
I mean, Conbox, it was Bellum who was a bit haphazard in their dives, and this time we see first dive of Oasis. OG just disconnected from the rest of his team. Got a lot of Primal Rage, ult charge, but nothing else to speak of. Now the reclaim will happen. Here's the second attempt at a dive.
Yep, take 2. We'll see whether it is going to be better this time, as there's the Dragonblade Architect already ripping people apart. That is the backline already destroyed here. The front line soon to follow. Massive damage from Architect. Goes down to 7 health. Doesn't matter. Just dashes his way out. Everything's fine. This is what we're expecting from Conbox.
And at the end of the day, Conbox get to beta test their dive. First one, there were a couple of bugs there. They put it together. Seems like they might get through Steam Greenlight this time because they got through much better on the dive. Architect already had the Dragonblade up. He was able to farm it while the rest of the team pulled off the point. We saw him just throwing out the shurikens at max range, had the Dragonblade, and that was the difference.
Yeah, just sitting on the roof, throwing out as many shurikens as he wants. Wasn't actually pressured at all as Asher. He's going to dance his way in, doesn't find anyone with that pulse bomb, and that's going to be the answering sound barrier from Bellum. Doesn't matter, they've lost Hexa already. OG really getting his eye in now. Don't necessarily need to with the Tesla cannon that he's got, but doesn't seem to matter. Revenge is going to fall, but it's still the advantage for Conbox.
Yeah, CCJ was already low, so just tried to back cap. It's not going to be a serious attempt to contest there from CCJ. Was at very, very low HP, around 10 HP, so they back away. Already impetus over to Bellum. They will have Transcendence for the next attack, but so far away from the attack vise that was used last time up.
Yeah, we do almost have another Dragonblade coming in from Architect. Overwatch almost with that sound barrier to pair with it as well if they want to do some sort of combination. As Marv has started this one off with a kill with the Primal Rage. Investment of Ultimate, as now Conbox are going to utilize that sound barrier that they had from before. Self-destruct, we'll see whether it finds anyone. No one actually going to fall down as Architect. Another Dragonblade, another kill as Dahim is going to fall down.
The big health pack and come back will Architect, so not enough here from Bellum to actually flip the point, and Revenge now back on it.
Yep, Asher dancing around, just trying to get some pressure in here. Does get rid of the mech. Just going to keep some control. No one really trying to boop him around here or get him off this point. was just able to stand in front of 2 members of Bellum without any trouble at all.
Yeah, and the struggle there for Bellum is even though they got the first pick, they weren't able to trade up in ults, so it's not like after forcing out the sound barrier from Conbox, they're coming back in with their own advantage. They do have Tac Visor, so if they can find a way to demech Clover, perhaps that'd be enough to force a flip.
Yeah, but we have already got to overtime, so if they're going to do something, they're going to have to do it soon, Papa Smithy. Half the health now on CCG. Jay, he's pressured out. They have to try and stay on this point. Another dive in here from OGE. The last few have worked, but good pulse bomb from CCJ. Finds the stick on the Winston. Gets rid of him, and here's the wipe from Bellum. That Tac Visor, they waited for it, and it paid off.
And the dive from CCJ, really nice pulse bomb. Great angle that he came in on. Killed the Winston. No chance of a delay from Conbox. Revenge died. Did not have Transcendence up. Ticked over as he died. And result is that Conbox will need to go for another attack, and this is already a lot closer than the control maps we saw on Oasis from Bellum on Monday.
Yeah, but on the side of Conbox, they didn't actually invest anything afterwards. I believe they had the Transcendence. They could have tried to use it, decided that they're going to play patient, get another flip,
Dragonblade
use
already
all of
drawn.
these ultimates. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of which, and Dahim once again going to be the one that falls over. I do really like the fact that it's been Architect on top of this 76 every single time. You mentioned that he had some highlight moments. Not going to now as he is forced back. Conbox do get the sound barrier, but they've lost 2. Still being held onto here by Bellum.
Bit of a solo mission by Architect in that fight because the Diva got demeched on the side of Conbox. It hasn't been as resounding a teamfight victory as they would have been looking for. It's still very even.
Yeah, Dahim getting pressured out now by OGE, but do Conbox have any more? Primal Rage has been invested into this fight. And now we've got overtime once again. 99-99 for both of these teams as Conbox do have at least a man advantage for the moment, but that monkey's very low.
For the big explosion, doesn't find any picks, but they have no support ultimates up. Overwatch or Revenge goes down. This could be Bellum's first point.
Yeah, well, they are going to actually move on aggressively. That's 3 picks very easily in the whole backline. The supports are both dead. Conbox finding a few back in there. As Sansam, he's on the point. He should be able to hold on to this one, but you can see it's ticking up for Conbox. They get the flip, and they take point 1, but that was a lot closer than expected.
Yeah, demonstrable improvement from Bellum, but Conbox, the moment they got their eyes in on the dive, looked more convincing. Felt like Architect was a little bit disconnected from the rest of his team, prioritizing diving the soldier over everything. So Dahim was going down first in fights, but sometimes they were losing their front line to make it happen. And if you lose your Diva mech, the answering picks can come through. So wasn't 100% convinced by Conbox, but it's just the first map. They were the winners, and Bellum, some improvement on display.
Yeah, and of course, Conbox also have some players that are new to a stage like this as well, Papa Smithy. I mean, Revenge, we haven't seen him on too many teams. You mentioned OGE and Clover coming over from NC Foxes that were a Challengers team. Revenge has actually stated himself that he's slow to warm up, you know, just look for him to make the plays after a little while, and we'll see where the 1 map's going to be enough as Architect. He's on the far, and already they're able to grab a two quick picks on the support line.
And the hero switch that we haven't seen Bellum do with any regularity comes through for Conbox. Instant result, and it's the full pharmacy rather than the solo Faras that we'll probably see on maps like Dorado in future maps. So nice opening pick, probably means first capture is going to be handed over to the side of Conbox, so the Bellum will contest.
Yeah, they're actually looking for the contest here, and they do manage to get 6 members back towards this point. Conbox do have an advantage as far as height, but that Diva is still going to fall down. Architect trying to land the rockets, and CCJ, he's just getting aggressive. The rest of the Bellum lineup have been able to get this one done, and now it's killing fields, most certainly.
Yeah, really nice stuff specifically from Bellum. Because the first pick was so early, they were able to get Chara back to the point and also to claim the high ground for Dahim, who was able to free fire on the soldier. They answered the Farah, the Mercy cleaned up as well. So I was surprised that it went so well for Bellum, but second map in a row, they pick up first capture.
Yep, just showing the importance of getting rid of a Diva very, very early. That mech, and then the pilot Diva herself taken down very, very quickly, and that meant that Bellum didn't have to worry about too much, as there's a pulse bomb, gets a lot of damage on OG.
Rage.
Yeah. Decides to throw that one out. Another one in answer, though, as Asher's going to be able to take down the entire backline with the help of OGE. It is answered quite fast, and actually everyone, just so much aggression. Okay, Rocket Barrage is going to come in. That gets a lot of work done, but Revenge with a 3-man res sorting out Conbox. They do have a lot of people still hanging around this point, but not actually able to get any percentage as far as flipping that one back over.
This fight was so disconnected that for once Rez got maximum value because people were dying clumped in different parts of the map. We saw 2 days ago a lot of Mercy Rez is just leading to triple kills, but because the fight was fought on 2 axes, the Rez got a lot of value and Conbox finally got the flip.
Yeah, Architect now going to be throwing out a lot of shots. I believe it was Twilight's duty to be on that Mercy last time around, so interested to see how Revenge is going to do. At the beginning, not necessarily looking like it was working out, but that res was fantastic. And Architect got a lot of value from that rocket barrage as well as Conbox continue to get some kills here, pushing aggressively forward towards the Bellum spawn.
Felt like Bellum needs to be more aggressive with their use of support ultimates because they know that Revenge just used res. But Revenge is being able to get the res back up because he didn't make a serious contest. He was able to build it up during the single picks they got that delayed Bellum's attack, and they will have dual support ultimate of their own, given how fast the charge is on the res. So watching here, it's just a miss on the pulse bomb.
Yeah, straight up. Sansom is going to be able to take down Revenge though, but Asher answers back. Good pulse bomb kill onto Marv, which is going to be very difficult for Bellum now to get any frontline action done. They're going to lose the mech at the same time, and it feels like Conbox just has too much control. So many ultimates. The Primal Rage, the only one that was invested. Sound Barrier was available for Oporochi, and he doesn't actually use it. The rest of Bellum are just going to be taken out, though. Didn't need to invest that ultimate. He'll be able to respawn, get back, throw that one down, drop the beat if he feels like it.
You don't usually want to be too harsh on a pulse bomb given how many are thrown, but just at the same time we saw Asher get the important stick and CCJ miss in kind of woeful fashion. So end result, big advantage to Conbox. They didn't have to use any other ultimates. Primal Rage down, everything else available. And Bellum, they need to open with a very quick pick on the Mercy, or this is all going to go bad.
Well, Tac Visor is going to be invested, but that's just going to spell the death of the Soldier. Rocket Barrage does a heck of a lot of work, softens up the rest of this Bellum team, and I feel like now Conbox should be able to get them off this point and take the 2-0 here on Oasis. We'll see whether they can do it. They still need to follow up as we got a dancing Lucio just playing with Architect, but should be able to get it in the end. Oporochi going to be able to get the boop onto Chara as well. And now it's just CCJ
2 kills.
being frustrating. Yeah, actually a triple, including the mech there for Sansom. So is it going to be Bellum able to take this one back? That's not normally the case, Bubba Smithy. That was so well done. His flip will come in, and Bellum given another chance.
Yeah, sick Diva ultimate there, launching it over terrain, wasn't spotted. We'll see the replay. Look at the angle. It's actually just thrown up in the air, but at the end of the day, wasn't paid attention to. Kills the Pharmacy in one swoop, and also the Diva that was pocketing the Pharah to get maximum value, Void-esque, in that self-destruct. And now we're going to go back to Conbox. You have to find a flip with no support ult to themselves.
Yeah, it is going to be Asher, though, winning this Tracer battle, so already it's the advantage over to Conbox. Low health bars, though, on the front line here for our Conbox roster. Doesn't seem to matter, though. It's Bellum just taking so much damage. Asher going nuts on the front line on this Tracer, man. Like, this guy has really been showing up towards the end of this. The pulse bombs have been great, and now the flip's going to come in, the overtime's going to tick down, and Conbox are going to say, forget about that self-destruct because we just got the 2-0.
And honestly, 2 Oasis maps we've seen from Bellum in a single week. 2 times the enemy Tracer has decided the map. It was Time Boy for X6 Gaming, looking a class above CCJ, and then today, same story with Asher. Perhaps the whole map was best typified by when we saw the pulse bomb go woefully wide at the same time as Asher was getting the sticky on the enemy Winston. You need to be a bit more cerebral, a bit more on point, and in this case, it was Asher significantly better than his opposing number.
Yeah, just building up ult charge so incredibly quickly as well. I felt like we just saw so many pulse bombs flying out from this guy.
And all of them sticking Atlas.
Yeah, this is the thing, and Asher has been one of these players that can be inconsistent as well. On a good day, Asher is incredible. He can stand up with the best of them, but on a bad day, Asher can be woeful. Just feel like it is a difficult time now for Bellum, but tactical pause is going to come out from the meta squad. They need to get some sort of, I don't know, emotional rejig to try and get them onto the next map.
And they also need to decide where that next map will be. Of course, it will be hybrid as the second map. They went to Numbani last time, and actually had a better Numbani than expected, a lot better than their Oasis, where they were able to push it most of the way towards point C. Part of that was X6 Gaming being a bit off on their ult economy usage, the Torbjorn in particular, not using ult when his turret was available, was notable for that particular map, so we'll see where Bellum want to go this time. Conbox seemed in great spirits when we saw them for a moment.
Yep. Bellum have stated that King's Row is their favorite map, but it seems to be a favorite for a lot of teams here, and you can imagine Conbox not too worried about it. We are going to see that massive Architect Dragonblade at the very beginning of Oasis.
And that was just when we were both surprised, and I think even the opponents were surprised that he already had Dragonblade up for the second team fight of the game. And you could say it was the first team fight because it was actually Bellum picking up a pick and then largely the team of Conbox surrendering the position. And the first time they went for a true fight, Dragonblade was there and ripped through the team. I kind of agree with him. The issue with King's Row being your favorite map is that King's Row as a map already has changed identity in the last month, with teams heavily favoring the Team Korea Scrim and then Team Korea Overwatch World Cup qualifier comp with the Zarya, the Reinhardt. It feels like the old strategies on King's Row no longer apply, given how many teams are staunchly going for the new meta on that map. So even if it used to be your favorite, maybe right now you have to reevaluate it.
Yeah, and we've even been seeing these double sniper compositions coming out on King's Row as well. It feels like King's Row has been a real question mark for a lot of these teams, and the double sniper compositions have not necessarily been the most successful attacking
where's
comps.
the Junkrat at, Atlas? That's what I want to see.
Man.
Flower hasn't played yet. We're waiting for next week for Luxury Watch Blue to play, so he was certainly on Junkrat-only duty, it felt like, back at the World Cup. Played other heroes, but Junkrat was most played there. No Smite played the last week and didn't play.
I know, I was so disappointed.
Junkrat.
So disappointed in No Smite. I understand that teams generally need a frontline, but come on. You know that he's the Junkrat
Of course
player.
the Winston player would switch over to Junkrat. They're basically the same.
Hey, what worked on Dorado, man, okay? They still managed to win. Ah, so incredibly impressive. I enjoyed it a lot, but
Bellum
don't know whether Bellum did.
They're not having the most fun right now. I'm very interested to see where they choose. To me, I think you have to go somewhere different. You already had Oasis dealt to you a second time, and while it felt better, it still was comfortably a Conbox victory. Numbani went decently, but I had my reservations about X6. King's Row, it is the mad scientist's alley right now with how many different things they're trying there. So very interested to see where they choose here, Bellum, with their hybrid map decision.
Yeah, well, the tag pause is now over. Your wish is going to be granted, Papa Smithy. We are going to find out which hybrid map we're going to head to for map number 2. And yeah, I feel like King's Row could be a possibility. Something like Hollywood would be fun, but Hollywood also does reward you for trying something different. We've seen a lot of different compositions come out, and that feels like a place where Conbox would have a great time. But honestly, hybrid in general feels like Conbox type of map, even though they are outspoken saying that Control is their favorite.
Waiting to see where they decide here for hybrid. Maybe a last-minute decision. Loading it up here. Hybrid can lead to some of our most exciting games. Was Numbani last time?
Do they just do it again? No, they don't. So we're going to King's Row. The theoretical favorite map here for Bellum, but definitely one that Conbox are no stranger to as well.
Will Conbox just stick with the Genji that looks so good on first point, especially of Oasis, or will we get the new meta? This is the one where you start rubbing your hands together and wondering, will we see innovation or just what was working on map 1?
Yeah, who's going to be playing the Widow Hanzo composition?
And maybe even some Doomfist, Atlas.
Hey, that's true. I want to see it. I was looking around at what Architect's been doing. Doesn't say that he's necessarily a Doomfist player, but I just feel like it's in his wheelhouse, Papa Smithy. This could be an opportunity for us. I'm excited to see it. I want to see whether Bellum's going to be able to throw something else out. We're going to be able to find out right now as we head to King's Row.
I get it.
All right. Well, at least the meta fans have found their voice just a little bit, Papa Smithy. They understand that their team does need a little bit more oomph moving forward. And it looks like we could almost get our wish, but I highly doubt it's going to happen.
It's true. There's no edges to jump off, so you have to run back.
Yeah, but
change your mind.
Look at which direction.
Oh,
there is an edge.
They found their edges.
Oh, don't do it, Architect. No. Is he trying? I don't think that
He didn't have the second charge on this patch, so he wasn't able to do some creative jumping.
Also, gravity wasn't his friend when he threw the damn thing down. Okay, well, he's actually going to switch over to the Doomfist, so maybe... No, okay.
Watch it, like.
No, it's not happening. He's actually committed. Okay, so Architect is going to grant our wish. Most likely.
It seemed like it was in his blood.
It did.
Genji player jumping over to the Doomfist, that seems to be the flex.
We've also seen it
sense.
so successfully utilized on defense as well on King's Row.
I don't think Chara will be running the Hanzo like we've seen on attack many different times. He's their Lucio player, so imagine Lucio Zen will be the choice, and will be the Lucio.
Yep, CCJ though, he's going to switch it up to the Pharah. So a pharmacy composition from Bellum. It's been a while since we've seen this on attack on King's Row.
Are very strong against Doomfist, given just the amount of range in the air that Doomfist will struggle to gap close on. So they're going to remove sight lines here as Dahim diving in on the Tracer.
Yep, CCJ is going to be able to take down Revenge as well, who doesn't seem to be having the best start to this series thus far. And it is going to be a very aggressive move forward. Looks like Bellum should be able to grab this point relatively quickly, already halfway done. And there's no one on Conbox to speak of to start this one off.
A lot of teams go for the last second contest, but it's not going to happen here. And very clean first capture on the map they chose for Bellum. We're seeing clear improvement from this squad, who struggled oh so woefully against X6 Gaming the other day. So you got to say, the Doomfist so easily dealt with by the Pharah in particular. Couldn't even poke his head out. 250 HP and no ability to gap close. One pick goes back towards Conbox, but cart's going to start rolling, Atlas.
Yep, Revenge is actually going to be able to take down Dahim. So I feel like this cart may not be rolling all that quickly, as the stop was at least gained by Conbox. CCJ is going to be able to take down Architect, who's stalwartly sitting on this Doomfist still. They haven't changed up this composition when really they have not a lot of answers to this Pharah, even though he has been able to be taken down to half health. We've got a lot of ultimates coming out from these supports. Really nice use of the defense matrix to stop anything from coming out of CCJ's rocket barrage, and he should be punished for it. OGE is going to be able to grab that kill. Bellum have been able to answer back with other options, but Conbox still able to do some work.
Clover was able to do so much there, both eating up the missile barrage and booping him out of the ability as well. So nice stuff from him, but a maximum value there as the fight raged on around the Pharah, and Diva will be some meterage gained for Bellum.
Yeah, but this Streets phase is generally pretty good for the attacking side, at least until you get just before point B.
Many days to deal with the Pharah, and Conbox have not been adjusting here.
Yeah. Okay, Sound Barrier once again going to come out as Architect, still looking for some
instant res.
Yeah, attacks. The ultimate is going to come in. Meteor Strike, he just wants to find the Lucio. He's a difficult target to get to. Clover's going to be able to find a kill with a self-destruct in the meantime, though, as Architect just flat out has not been able to make this one work. Gets himself out at least, but self-destruct going to be thrown out again just to buy some space. Bellum just going to continue to get themselves onto this cart and get it moving towards that second point.
Yeah, Hex has been able to stay alive through all of this. Pump out the healing. There's the sound barrier. They want to complete it on this push.
Well, already very close to taking down OGE, but Marv in a similar position throws down the ultimate as Primal Rage does have to be invested. Not going to be as lucky as OGE is. He was only up to 80%. Double Pulse Bomb kill gets both of the support members of Conbox, and this should be able to equal. Oh no! Architect able to get to him, but here it is. Bellum are going to be able to get to this next point. You should imagine. And Conbox just don't have very many.
We're talking about beta testing for Conbox. You got to say, first time we see Dahim jump on the Tracer and CCJ now on the Pharah. Instant success. We were criticizing CCJ on Oasis. He's their Pharah player, so it forces Dahim onto the Tracer. And his pulse bombs and in general his accuracy on the Tracer has been significantly better than his DPS part.
Yeah, and I feel like CCJ should probably stick to something like this. Wonder how his soldier is. Perhaps he could even hop onto that, because to him has certainly been
Sneaking
impressive.
out.
Yeah, he is just going to jump himself up, throws in the ultimate as CCJ, going to keep himself alive.
Being so tricky around that low ground as we're on Asher here. Finally get the pick onto Hexa, dies with res available.
Yeah, so OGE going to be able to continue that one. CCJ just going to jump off the edge looking for the reset. Bellum do get a little bit of yardage, but not too much. It's the Foundry, a difficult one to complete here on King's Row, and some control now being regained by Conbox.
They'll just off the Farah, not suited to this final point on King's Row, so to him jumping on the McCree, and CCJ this time will be the first Doomfist. This double kill comes through from Asher.
Yeah, the McCree was just switched over to as well, but Asher says, all right, nice McCree, and kills him instantly with that pulse bomb.
Tracerless comp on attack from Bellum. You don't often see this. Trying to make the Doomfist work, and there's certainly a lot of walls to squish people against on this final point, but actually getting into range without being picked away by Architect on the Soldier, it's going to be a bit more of a struggle.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll see exactly what is going to happen as Revenge. Does need to be a little bit careful, does have Transcendence and utilizes it now. Bellum going to answer with a sound barrier of their own, so a lot of ultimates now invested. OVERWATCH does have the sound barrier, utilizes it just after the Transcendence comes in. The Sansum does throw in the self-destruct, gets OVERWATCH through the sound barrier as well, as CCJ still continuing to try and find some kills. But it does seem like control is residing with Meta. Now going to be able to take down the mech and Asher there as well as they're pushing forward. This could be an opportunity for a victory and a full completion.
They have two abilities to stop defensive advantage. They also have the Meteor Strike. Here it is.
Yep, they are just going to throw it right at the
zoning.
spawn. They're trying to do what they can as OVERWATCH, he's on top of that cart. Asher trying to do some work here as well. He takes down to him. They are able to move Clover over to this at the same time, so it should mean that they can buy a fair bit of time. Hexa now standing, able to throw out orbs at whoever he wants, and it still kills coming in for Bellum, but these tanks have found their way onto the point. This time bank that they built up, not necessarily looking as good as it could have if they had have got this push forward, as CCJ gets a sound barrier but will get ripped to shreds. Another Transcendence comes in, and Conbox, a heroic defense here in the Foundry, and Bellum might need to actually reset and try again.
Bellum was so close to claiming with the Doomfist ult and the McCree, but they bought enough time at Conbox to allow Transcendence to come through on the respawn. Able to hold the point, and while we see the contest continue, there's a couple of kills. They're trying to close the distance here as Clover is just on the point.
Yeah, they're actually looking for some extra kills there as well. I believe Deadeye was actually invested. Didn't actually find too many kills, and yes, I thought that this might be an overstay for Meta, but it wasn't. They're able to get enough. Transcendence comes in. This should be able to lock this one in, as there's only 0.4 meters for this cart to go, but another jump in. Can they actually get there? Clover does need to hop onto this point. Not a lot of boops left as they are on cooldown, and Bellum once again going to back away. Oh, it's so close and yet so far for this team.
Yeah, it felt like it's been 2 minutes and under 2 meters for Bellum to push. They pushed out too far, Conbox, on the defense, and there was only one person on the cart. But because it was the Diva, bought so much time for the next round of respawns to come in. And we take a breath, the cart starts to roll back a bit, and now it's probably the last fight of attack for King's Row.
Yep, CCJ looking for it, does have the Meteor Strike to keep himself healthy. Lots of kills coming out on both sides. Yeah, OGE popping off completely on this Winston. Primal Rage is going to fly forward, and that is going to be that. Could have been so much better though, Papa Smithy.
Yeah, heroic defense for the side of Conbox, but in the end, Doomfist does answer it, and Doomfist does get the 2 quick picks with even members alive. With such low meterage, you can't be off the cart for a second, and it is going to be our first completion for Bellum in their history in Apex. Second time of asking, finally they full push a cart, and they're going to feel good about that, even if the time bank could have been healthy.
Yeah, it could have been healthier, but it is still the completion. You're exactly right. And we did see that their attack on Hanamura the last time we saw this team as well was very effective. It just wasn't quite enough when it came to the tie-breaking maps afterwards.
We're going to watch the last seconds here where OG had picked up the triple kill, booped off. And that's the problem, even though there were so many heroics. One single boop was the difference.
Yep, and Clover as well. I mean, he was so close to getting towards that cart, but when it makes it so close to the end, it is difficult. But now only 19 seconds in that time bank. Conbox are going to do at least attempt to do what Bellum were able to get done on their attack run, because that first point was capped so quickly, and it just felt like compositionally, Conbox was sort of outdrafted almost.
I'm just feeling great about Bellum varying up their hero pools and really who they allocate the DPS heroes to specifically. Him jumping onto the McCree on defense, and CCJ staying away from the Tracer. So another Tracerless defense. They started off with the Reinhardt, but they're going to stick with the Winston after all.
Yeah, and they were so stubborn in very meta 2-2-2 compositions earlier on. But now moving over to the Doomfist that CCJ did say was in his wheelhouse. And Dahim staying with these hit scan characters, but McCree, a different flavor than his Soldier 76 that he was certainly sticking to in their first showing.
CCJ really pushed up looking for a first pick, has to back away, but isn't killed, importantly, for Bellum.
Yeah, is able to scope out this lineup as well. Clover taking a lot of damage to this mech here as well, as they're just looking for the entrance. Conbox moving over sneakily, but CCJ going to draw first blood as Overwatch going to be the one to fall down. Nice positioning, and we spoke about this last time we saw Doomfist as well. In fact, he can find nice angles.
Is taken out, so they are now Doomfist-less. That's hard to say.
I liked it though.
They get the D.Va down, probably going to be a semi-reset here from Conbox on attack.
Oh, really nice flashbang from Dahim. Revenge wasn't exactly in the greatest position to stay alive.
Seeing a little bit less McCree than we might have expected after the buffs. The slow after the flashbang makes those headshots, those one-shots, so much cleaner. You get the headshot after the stun. Good answer for the Tracer as well, but this time Asher will have the pulse bomb. It was devastating on Oasis with that ability.
Yeah, taking a lot of damage, but does get the health back. Now he's trying to get the work done, so Conbox going to buy the space they need with the Transcendence that they're pushing really far forward. Good answering. Transcendence comes out from Hexa, but can they actually find the damage here? Good res comes in from Chara. Is this going to be able to buy them this space? Oh, a bit greedy is Dahim. Almost had the opportunity to get some kills, but Architect, yeah, just going to Meteor Slam right on top of his face. And that is a pretty good counter to the Deadeye.
Yeah, invulnerable and then drops on it. This may be the attack for Conbox, but the picks are coming in for Bellum.
Oh, nice work from CCJ. Just hops on in, takes down Oporochi.
It's been pretty much pandemonium on attack. Conbox happy to use their ultimates almost off cooldown. And even there, right now, they have nothing to show for Primal Rage and Sound Barrier coming soon. Bellum, nothing to show either, but shorter cooldowns on the likes of Mercy. And Dahim and CCJ can brawl without ults. Very effective.
And now it seems like a little bit of a face-off from both of these sides. Finally, Conbox going to jump onto that point to try and get the first little starts, as Architect is going to be able to grab that first kill, and finally Conbox Spirit able to get the picks that they're looking for, and Chara had the res, still fell down.
Yeah, and Asher this time we get some nice picks, so maybe Conbox will get the attack they've been looking for. Sansam has the ability to buy a lot of time. He's going to come in for the last second contest, and there's so many times. Booped off, though.
Yeah, and that is going to be the completion. Really nice reaction from Conbox. Sansam is still able to get off the self-destruct and takes down Architect, but that didn't seem to matter. Conbox now with 5 ultimates to their name. Asher will have that pulse bomb very quickly. This Streets phase should be a fast one. Theoretically, Conbox can make things work with these ultimates.
And I love how much better teams are at stopping the last-second contests on King's Row. D.Va flying at the last second has been happening since Season 1, but teams scout it, and when you have both Doomfist and the Lucio, even D.Va, all 3 can boot back, and that meant it was too late to contest.
Yeah, even with the Primal Rage from OG, theoretically he can do the same thing. As CCJ going to be able to take down Architect. Really good spaceport by Bellum, and this Streets phase that I said should be able to be well controlled. Conbox didn't use any of the ultimates, but still wasting some time. And they don't have a lot of that because that first capture was not a fast one.
Same thing happened for the attack of Bellum, so eventually, because of all the different routes you can take around Streets phase, you have to pull back to safer terrain, so Bellum can't just go for spawn camping or anything like that. Architect wants to brawl. 6 ultimates available for Conbox, but they don't want to use them in the Streets phase if they don't have to.
Yeah, well, you've got 6 ultimates, but they don't have many alive, Papa Smithy. That's half of the team. Make that 2/3. Conbox still, without any ultimates used, is going to reset. try again.
It's a bit of greed. Again, you don't want to use the ults on the streets phase. You don't expect there to be a real drop down or fight till the last bend, where we've seen so many titanic team fights in the history of Apex on King's Row. But Bellum, when you've got heroes like Doomfist, you can drop down earlier, start brawling when you have res available. Speaking of brawling.
Yeah, CCJ is going to jump inside this house and really start to wreak some havoc. Charges up that punch once again and has the Meteor Strike. Can he actually get this one done in a position that he wants to? Throws himself down, but not going to find too many kills. Nice res, but it's only on to 1. And Conbox now able to answer with a couple of quick kills. Make that 3. Now this cart should move forward once again.
Sound barrier was drawn out, but that's all he got for the use of the Meteor Strike. And we're watching Asher pushing up super aggressively. And that last second contest not going to happen, Atlas. His payload's bumping.
Yep, 5 of the ultimates were invested. That time only the Primal Rage going to be kept available. Asher's going to have Pulse Bomb up once again, but should be the completion, and I like it. They knew that they didn't have too much more to go, and if they got a wipe with the ultimates invested, they would be able to guarantee their right to head towards this foundry.
No res available for Bellum. Usually the whack-a-mole when you have Mercy on defense at the last point is very difficult given she can come flying out from a very defensive position. Asher's flashbang is taken out.
Yeah, not going to be able to recall if you're going to be dazed. That is going to spell a stop here. Conbox's payload. Over sees that, just going to reset himself.
Start to back away. Deadeye available for zoning. Transcendence available for a fight. And Asher's probably going to need the heroics again if he's going to start the payload moving now. It'll probably take 2 teamfight victories actually fully complete King's Row. We saw how much stall was enacted by Bellum. CCJ's looking for Lucio.
Yeah, just jumps right into that backline as OVERWATCH, not going to fall down just yet. So Hexa able to take down Architect there in the front line. CCJ still winning as far as that trade is concerned. Conbox. Okay, we'll see what they can do. Zahim, he's mentioned defense. There's the Transcendence. Deadeye going to come out immediately, though, from Bellum. Zahim not able to find any targets. Oh, not quite quick enough on the trigger finger.
It was just a solo ult. That would have been a great trade, but it wasn't. Now we see the redive, and they actually get CCJ.
Yeah, really good control from Conbox. They see a couple of ultimates utilized. Good double res comes out from Bellum, but now they're throwing everything forward. Good double kill comes in once again. Actually just self-destructs across the board, finding kills.
The problem with res is you know they're going to be in position for the self-destruct. They trade up 2 for 1 with the self-destructs. Both Divas without ult.
And Architect actually has had enough of the Doomfist. Jumps back onto his beloved Genji, trying to charge up this Dragon Blade once again, only at 60%, and Sansom going to be able to take down OGE.
Once again, lead to a pull away, and Bellum, just like their opponents have been doing good delay. Remember, they still need to see a full capture from Conbox. They need to win a team fight decisively, and they really have no tool to do that with until the Dragon Blade is available.
Yeah, but is it going to be enough time? We've got a Pulse Bomb, but there's 30 seconds to go. They need a Transcendence or a Sound Barrier. OVERWATCH only at 50%. Revenge getting close to a Transcendence to try and buy some space. And CCJ, he's looking to move aggressively. Okay, Meteor Strike not going to find any joy there at all as he jumps his way out with the Seismic Slam. And there is the investment of that Transcendence. So Conbox understand that this is a dangerous time. CCJ able to take down OGE. And this actually could be enough to get that defense that Bellum need. Remember, the completion did come in. This is Bellum taking their first map potentially, but Dragon Blade from Architect could say no. Jumps into the backline, already 2 kills. CCJ trying to do what he can, but my God, massive res comes in from Chara, and Bellum should be able to say goodnight to Conbox. Beautiful play from the Mercy. Just stand back, press the Q when you need it. Not a lot of tools left here for Conbox. We're going to have to play this one out in overtime if they can. It's not going to happen, and that is going to be 1-1 here from Bellum.
Congratulations to Bellum. First map for them and for the Meta organization in Apex Season 4. There were so many different masters that Conbox needed to serve to get a successful push, because even when we accounted for both of the Diva ultimates being down, even when the Transcendence wasn't a factor, you have to play that whack-a-mole with the Mercy. Mercy has so many great places she can hide right at the end of Point C on King's Row. Comes in, wins the game for them. They had trust in the Mercy as well, because they kept Primal Rage, they kept other ultimates, for after the Mercy ult came in. These sort of Mercy reses haven't really been a thing since very early in the competitive life of Overwatch. It comes back in, it triggers some people from their competitive play on the ladder, but it works oh so well for Bellum.
Certainly worked so well in the exact position that they managed to get themselves in as well. And we have to go back to their incredible attack run first time forward, as here's the res in question.
Quadra res. Feels so good. Get so much value there. That was the big turning point and ended the attack for Conbox.
Yep, Chara really should be proud of himself. So now moving forward, we've got Assault. It is going to be the choice of Conbox. We are going to take a quick break beforehand, but a lot of questions now raised. Conbox not looking as strong as they have in the past, but still a lot of kinks to work out. Still a lot of new things that they need to get used to.
I'm just happy we got a series, Atlas. We've had 3-0 all this week. This is the first time we've had a 1-1.
And also the first map victory for the Meta organization so far. We are going to have a short break. We'll be back with Game 3 very soon.
에너지가 필요한 순간 핫식스와 함께 핫하게 즐겨라. 올여름 가장 핫한 리그 오버워치 핫식스 에이펙스.
Game, record, and stream without compromise.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Apex Season 4. We have a tied series. 1-1 as Kings Row was able to be taken by Meta Bellum, giving them their first map for the entire organization so far in Season 4.
And our first tie so far this week, and I love the fact that Meta Bellum won on the back of innovation. They weren't being stubborn with just one comp. You didn't see the same nerves and stubbornness that we saw on Monday in their performance over these two maps, but specifically on Kings Row. Chara off the Lucio onto the Mercy with the 4-man res was the big difference in the titanic final fight between Conbox and Meta Bellum. And now we will go to the map choice of Conbox. Also means we'll get our first escort of the week when we get to map 4.
Yeah, which will be exciting, but first we have to go through Assault.
Is it Lunar Colony? Finally, Atlas. We've been waiting.
Ho-ho.
We've been oh so patient.
Not entirely sure. Conbox say that they don't necessarily have any least favorite maps, but we are going to find out. It's going to be Hanamura, which is an interesting choice because Meta Bellum did have a good first push on attack on this particular map against X6, but Conbox obviously have some sort of plan, and we'll see what it is going to be. This has been a map where Architect has popped off on the old Genji. Could be an opportunity for him to get some work
And
done.
if you're Conbox, I think you go to where you're strong. You don't think about where Meta Bellum is weak. You came in probably not rating them too highly. May find yourself surprised to not be 2-0 up. But you go back to the original game plan, which is which control map are we most comfortable on? Which assault map, sorry, are we most comfortable on? Let's stick with that.
Well, you can see not a lot of smiles over the side of Conbox. When you do suffer a loss against a team that probably wasn't expected to find any victories, it can hit you a lot harder than you would have thought.
When you think about those standings at the end of the group, remember, they have another map loss that other teams may not have against Meta Bellum.
Yeah, a lot of danger here for Conbox. Let's see what happens as we head to Assault on Hanamura.
I get it.
Aww.
Lunatic High fans are all squatting in the Conbox side of the audience, clearly.
I feel like you might be right there. As Meta Bellum, you were mentioning that you were excited that they were mixing things up. Could
See you later.
Oh, Marvel. He is going to hop back onto his Winston. We'll see what they actually do decide to go with as far as defense is concerned. It was very standard stuff last time we saw them on this map.
Has it ever been established if Winston prefers smoothie or crunchy peanut butter?
Whoa.
Smooth. I should say smooth smoothie. Smooth or crunchy peanut butter?
Have you had a peanut butter smoothie before?
I have once. It's very nice.
Yeah, it is actually delicious.
But we don't. Can we see? Oh, Diva, get out of the way. What do you think? What's your impression on this? Well, scientist that gets really mad at
You
times.
see, it's hard just based on like the art style. It looks like smooth, but it could theoretically be crunchy just because of the art style, you know?
These are the questions we have to
But I feel like
keep
he'd
us
be
up
like-
late at night about.
I feel like he'd be a connoisseur, you know? Like he'd have either of them. It doesn't really matter which.
Bellum running the Ana, going for pretty standard Tracer Soldier defense. They ran the same thing a couple of days ago. Conbox brawling. They've got the Doomfist, and they've actually managed to get him up the stairs, so that's already a mini victory.
See whether he can actually find position, try and pick off someone like Dahim, though. We saw Architect on the Genji doing it fantastically well on Oasis. Now on the Doomfist, trying to get this attack run working forward. They have actually got a decent position as he's going to jump forward onto this point. Doesn't really find too much and actually goes down very, very low. Needs to get himself out of there with the Seismic Slam, and Dahim not going to be pressured at all on this Soldier.
Yeah, Doomfist kind of has to get in there, but isn't able to, doesn't have a way to get around. So for now, the defense has been fine for Bellum, but Winston goes down, and that's usually the start of something.
Yeah, and Asher actually gets a really good angle here on this backline. Throws the pulse
Got
bomb
Hexa.
forward, and Hexa is actually going to fall. That was no stick. He just walked into it, tripped over a pulse bomb. Unfortunate stuff, as now Architect is able to find the punches. Sound barrier was invested, but this should be the first cap on Hanamura, and Conbox coming back with vengeance here on Assault.
Asher's having probably his career best Tracer performance with just how many kills he's picking up with the Pulse Bomb specifically. You have to wonder if that is also something you have to levy criticism against the opponent of, given that usually you can dash away from it if you're Dahim, just run away from it, or find other ways to repel. Maybe the Diva's not looking to eat them, but the Pulse Bombs have been devastating for Asher.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunately here over the side of Bellum. It is going to be CCJ back onto the Tracer. He did look good on the Doomfist himself, and Dahim's Tracer looked great, but Conbox going to continue the destruction as Dahim is going to be picked off. Chara as well. Not a lot of opportunity to do anything, and even had the sound barrier that he could not utilize. Architect diving forward. That's going to be the knock-up and the destruction of Sansam. Not a lot of frontline remaining, and they are already starting to get this second point ticking up. Asher once again with a Pulse Bomb kill onto Dahim.
And Doomfist so strong when people are coming to him. The dash is oh so much more predictable as the Meteor Strike available as well. But for now, Diva will delay.
Yeah, Dahim actually going to switch over onto the Mei as well, so trying to just ice himself up, hold on. Conbox, they've got halfway through, understanding that they do need to still be a little bit careful. Dahim to sit on this point just to buy some space, but Marvel going to be taken out by Architect, who continues his reign of terror, vengeance as well, getting one back onto Dahim. Does call himself a DPS Zenyatta.
Meteor Strike is going to zone people away from coming in. Very smart use there by Architect, but Diva sneaks through.
Yep, Sansam going to get himself onto the point, gets punched off for the moment. They're going to try and get some more meterage. Been sitting on this point for a very long time. Asher once again with a Pulse Bomb, actually takes down Marvel as well. Good chunk out and good follow-up from Architect.
Venge was taken out. That's the first kill that Bellum have picked up in a while. Dahim halfway towards the Blizzard. Not close enough yet, though, and Icebox is down.
Yeah, and Dahim is going to be taken down along with it as well. Sansam in his mech, just going to try and go back, reset that one up, but that's going to be the completion. Huge time bank there as well on Hanamura for the first time here for Conbox.
Very convincing attack overall, even if it wasn't a 6-minute 30 time bank like other people have been able to pull off. Asher on form with the Tracer, and I love the use of Doomfist. Sure, the start was wary, but the moment they got onto point B, you could see that when it comes to those staggered respawns, one of the best to deal with them is Doomfist, because you're predictably coming out of a single door. Whether the charge takes you down to begin, or you jump onto the point where he's already brawling, and felt like so often he was getting the 200 damage plus combos off. Meteor Strike also to zone people away from respawns, and a very healthy time bank for Conbox to protect. Now all action on Bellum.
Yep. Approximately 5 minutes here for Conbox to play with if Bellum are actually able to get this double capped on Hanamura. Were able to do it last time, had themselves a decent time bank as well. So on the attack, this team has looked better. The question is, was it just a mess up here from Conbox on King's Row? Was it the fact that that pharmacy composition wasn't able to be countered effectively by this squad? Like, there are a lot of questions to be answered.
No questions about how far Architect can jump. One single question, though, Atlas, because we didn't actually specify. Where are you on the peanut butter scale? Are you a crunchy man or are you a smooth man?
Oh, man. Like, it's so easy to alienate.
You're looking very
like,
dapper today,
50% of people, you know? Like,
I'm willing to go first. Or
Okay,
we can
go.
say it at the same time.
all right. 3, 2 1,
Crunchy!
Oh,
Hey!
that's why we got the synergy.
Synergy, baby.
I feel like hipsters go with crunchy, you know? And those that just want, like, really sweet peanut butter go with smooth.
It's fair.
Yeah. Man, I love peanut butter.
Watching the attack here from Bellum. They're running triple DPS. Actually, no, I say a lie. Dahim's actually flexing over the Zenyatta, and it's Hexa, their usual Zenyatta player, on the Doomfist this time, so they're really mixing it up.
Yep, this is more of a mix than I would have expected from the squad, but see how it goes. Still 2-2-2 composition as it all shakes out. So, Hexa obviously had some success on the competitive ladder and decided, oh, well, come on, guys.
Conbox are being really defensive here. They don't want to allow any free ult charge from an extended fight, except Tracer is the one off mark on that.
Yeah, not going to be able to find the punch onto Asher, unfortunately. Difficult target to find there as well, though, as all the harmony is keeping Hexa relatively alive, along with that Lucio.
Diva's dead now. Clover's killed in the pilot form, so gonna be a bit of struggle here for Conbox. Hard to win when you have a Diva disadvantage.
Yeah, the whole front line now going to be removed as well. So it should be successful attack already for Bellum, something that we should have probably expected given their success against X6 on this exact position. Conbox going to have to now try and put up the walls, set up the defense here. 0.2 Hanamura, which is much more defensible.
And Sunsum doesn't even need to jump off. So close already to picking up the remake. Happy to say in pilot form. Spray on the wall a little bit. Wave to no one in particular.
Oh, wavy to us.
We're not a
Say-
wall, Atlas.
Well, no, but probably just saying that Sunsum agrees that crunchy peanut butter is better.
We are alienating people, but I'm okay with it. They're smooth peanut butter lovers.
Exactly.
Well, Hexa, looking around. 3 ultimates available, but they love Transcendence, and even the value of the Meteor Strike was on full display on the attack from Conbox. 2 minutes 20. Well, they start 1:20 until they start matching time banks. Okay, sound barrier already drawn out of Bellum.
Yeah, trying to establish position on this point. Conbox going to answer, though, with the Transcendence of their own. So Revenge trying to get some work done. They are going to trade them. Hexa taken down very, very quickly off to the side as CCJ trying to get what he can in onto this point. It's been pretty even thus far, but at least Bellum have pushed Conbox back. Sound barrier does come in. And OGE had the Primal Rage when he died. He's going to be able to jump on and put that down if he wants.
Smart from Bellum, though. They see the sound barrier. They're like, okay, we don't have the tools to beat that. We've already lost a couple of members. We'll definitely lose a fight. Let's not give any ult charge. Let's pull away. And so far, I think Conbox has been better at being, you know, the defensive formation, knowing, okay, we need to kite back and no longer fight. Don't want to give away charge. I like to see that from Bellum because it's another string to their bow that we're learning about this team on the Apex stage. They see the sound barrier. They back away. Now we're going to see the reset, and Conbox, they actually just swap over to Ana, who's a bit more powerful pre-sound barrier than the Lucio will be in just a single brawl.
Yeah, also will add a bit of range here to this composition as well that is otherwise Tracer Doomfist as far as that damage. Architect able to pick up Chara, the whole support lineup going to go.
A defensive dive, but the team was disconnected. They get their man, or men I guess in this case, and be a bit more time bought. And look at that timer, Atlas. It's already below the 4 minutes 40 that Conbox is defending.
And bought Conbox another Transcendence there as well. Oporochi 60% towards that nano boost. So still a lot for Conbox to play with and a lot of build needed.
Back to the high ground. This is where they got picked a moment ago, but they're going to come in with reinforcements this time.
Yep, so him looking to try and stand up on this high ground and get the picks off that he's looking for, but see what he's going to be able to do. Once again, it's a big dive coming down from OGE, and already Sensum's been demech'd. The front line just getting destroyed, and Dahim trying to do what he can, but like, look at this, he's getting pressured so far out. CCJ, 1 health! That was close. Asher is going to be able to win it in the end.
But loses the Tracer battle, as you'd expect with Asher, who's been so on form. Tried the back cap to CCJ, and then Asher dropped down and dealt with him. And once again, we're going to have Bellum back away, reform. They still have Sound Barrier and Primal Rage, but teams have been staggered and frustrated, stalled out on bigger time banks than Bellum had, and Bellum had a very decent one. See what they try, because for now, going upright hasn't been working.
And Chara has just been picked off, so this is again going to be time bought by Conbox. It's already been a minute more for Bellum this time around, and it's only going to continue. This defense just so strong from Conbox. And it feels like it was a plan. It didn't feel like they tried oh so hard as Asher. Nice ping off.
I mean, no teams really do go left on attack on point B because of scenarios like you see where if there's just a Diva or a Lucio waiting for you, triple boops can happen, then really answer you. And getting the high ground advantage for Dahim is so important. Basically, every full capture we see of Hanamura is a soldier standing on the high ground, free firing even after tack visor, because the defensive dive can't come out when you're fighting on the point. Conbox, very much in enemy lines as Architect.
Yep, but Revenge is going to be able to grab one against this opposite number. This is just going from bad to worse here from Bellum, and it's just these single picks just creating advantages for Conbox, and Bellum know that they're not going to be able to go in 5 versus 6.
The worst feeling also, Atlas, is that they're not even using ults to get these picks, and sure, Bellum is getting ults of their own in answer, but 6 ults versus 6 ults not what they want. They want to draw something from Conbox on defense and then actually have the eco pushes mean something.
Yeah, and the controlled aggression from Conbox as well, getting these picks that we have been talking about is so important, is there's the nano boost being invested. CCJ does have the help of a sound barrier, and now Bellum trying to get what they can done. They've already taken down Architect, definitely a good news story, but what are Conbox going to be able to throw back at them now?
Dahim free firing, doesn't have the tack visor anymore. Hex is dead.
Yeah, of course, that pulse bomb's going to work out there from Asher. Nicely done. OGE takes down Dahim as well. We mentioned the importance of the soldier in this kind of attack. And Asher's just getting free reign now as they're diving forward. Architect on the respawn gets his revenge over CCJ. Not quite enough done. One ultimate remaining on both sides, but any sort of victory is a Conbox victory when you can remain in control of this point defensively.
And even more crucially, they only have a single AoE heal, no sound barrier to prolong a fight on the side of Conbox, but Revenge is higher on the ult economy than Hexa, and that's another struggle for them as they weren't able to trade up that much, but Architect just dies.
Nice.
Sniped by a Lucio and a Zenyatta Discord Orb, that's funny.
CCJ also going to fall down as Asher once again going to try and prove himself as the best tracer out of the two. So 5v5 on this point, but a lot of damage being done to Conbox as the mech has been taken down by Clover.
Still not kind of half-hearted here on the side of Bellum, and Dahim's cleaned up as well.
Yeah, this backline dive, I know OGE started off diving a little over-aggressively, but he's been right on top of this soldier every single time. Clover actually going to switch over to the soldier here, as you can see, and a lot of damage coming in now from Conbox. Yeah, not normally the nano tracer, but seemed to work out. Asher's been the man making the moves, make things happen, may as well boost him.
Just want to get back onto the point and fight. Clover didn't want to go for the Diva. We're back on it now. Bellum, you get one chance, one opportunity, and even if you get it, you will have a significant time bank disadvantage. CCJ,
Aren't they supposed to never let it go?
Well, that's how the song goes. CCJ let his life go.
Yeah, he most certainly did let it go, as Architect going to be able to take him out of this fight, and already it's looking pretty dire for Bellum. They still do throw out the 4-man sound barrier, but Architect looking for the Meteor Strike. We'll have to try and jump down and get some one-shots because Transcendence was there from Bellum, but we'll see. They have been able to get some picks as Architect. He's going to be taken down as well, and Conbox, they may not find this. Overtime still going to be ticking down as Bellum sitting on top of this point. They will be able to get another respawn because remember, no progression was taken, but it is now ticking up. Last minute, they're going to jump in, exactly.
The respawns are so long in overtime, this might actually be Bellum with the last second complete.
Well, at least the Diva is going to make it onto this point for Conbox. A couple of extra kills, though, for Bellum, and they were biding their time, but it was still successful. No time bank to speak of, but they stay alive in this assault map.
And that's one way that you can complete, actually force the final fight in overtime when the penalty is there for respawns, and they were able finally to close it out, but no big smiles on the Bellum players. They know they're very much in the hole. It's going to have to be a pretty insane hold for them to actually answer what is going to be a big time advantage for the side of Conbox. So Conbox has still done what they seeked out to do. It's very, very difficult if it ends up with the roll of the dice that you're fighting in overtime.
Still quite disappointing for Conbox, though, to have such an incredible defense up until that point and not be able to close it out.
But, I mean, this is the reality, right, is that Bellum doesn't even get an attack, and it's Conbox needing a single tick in 4 minutes for it.
Yeah. Thanks to that overtime completion. And we saw that, you know, point A, not super defensible.
It's just one of those things where if you get the completion with 1 second, you get your own attack, right? But because it's in overtime, you feel good about the respawn penalty, but you feel bad about this is what you get, the chance to have some sort of last stand. This is going to be a Western movie of yore for them to actually be able to hold for 4 minutes 40. It's not even really realistic, and they have to play so specifically because they can get back-capped very easily as well. So you're kind of sitting on the point and hoping if you're Bellum.
Yeah, hoping that Asher just decides not to play Tracer this time because he could be difficult to get off this point. You can see CCJ standing quite far forward, opting in for his Doomfist once again as Dahim back to the McCree.
Any one-shots will be a delay of time. He starts opening up, cancels the Rocket Punch.
Just wanted to see whether someone was going to jump around, but Conbox are taking their time.
Oh, they're actually moving over to Zarya and the Reinhardt here. Reaper as well for Asher. They're trying to brute force down a tank line.
Oh, big punch, but Asher going to survive. Gets healed back up there as well. CCJ going to feel completely robbed. I believe that Wraith form probably kept him alive after those shots were flying at his head afterwards.
Everyone's short range, that's why they make the adaptation, because no one is actually long range, so Reaper will get into fights, and worst comes to worst, you throw down the Graviton Surge, you throw down the Death Blossom, that'll probably get you a tick on its own.
Yeah, this is that Phalanx comp that you talk about, Papa Smithy, and just slowly but surely moves forward. A bit like some sort of Juggernaut composition or something like that. It just feels immovable.
Phalanx from the Ancient Rome. Defensive strategy, short range, but oh so potent when they actually get their threats to you. Speaking of threats, people actually diving in aside of Bellum.
Yeah, single res actually going to come out onto CCJ, valuing him a lot. Meteor Strike almost built up as it's going to fall well and truly far back.
They're going to have a nano-boosted Zarya with ultimate soon, though, and that's why Conbox just inching forward again and again. They get the res out. Chara's dead.
Yeah, but Clover doing a lot of damage with this nano-boosted Zarya. Yep. So much work being done. And Conbox, I mean, we were waiting for it. They just needed to charge him up. And there they go. They grab that tick that they were looking for and close it out.
D.Va Zarya is so many of these sub-tanks. You don't get to see the Zarya side too much, but increasingly we see people poke their heads out. Clover on the Zarya. I really like the strategy by Conbox. They saw the defense. They noticed no long-range hit scan. Go for the short range then. If you come in, you're going to have to deal with the Reaper cannons, and if you wait, the ultimates will be devastating in a wombo. So Conbox get through very confidently, and now a one map away from taking down Bellum, but crucially, not as cleanly as Exit Gaming were able to, and if all three teams beat Bellum as is expected in this group, the one-game win for Bellum and the game score disadvantage for Conbox will be significant.
Yeah, and they're already starting to play potential spoiler, even if they were to lose this one and lose to LW Blue in the future as well. So very meaningful victory thus far for Bellum. Maybe not necessarily for them, but certainly for Conbox. And Conbox, if they lose another one, or if, God forbid, Bellum is actually able to take them down with these next two map wins, could be very dangerous. But let's have a look at the first escort that we're going to be heading to, and it is going to be Route 66 here, chosen by Bellum.
Yeah, we had Dorado a couple of times on the first day, but no escort this week. Route 66, I believe for the first time this season. Should be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. Interested to see exactly what Conbox are going to do. I want to see more of this Zarya because Clover is very outspoken and is wanting to be that Zarya player, wanting to throw that one out, and I'm glad that we saw his point of view.
Not really a map for the D.Va, though. It should be mentioned, Route 66.
Zarya,
For the Zarya, sorry, yes. Not really a map for the Zarya D.Va. A lot more powerful here, but hey, I take it. If it comes up, I'll take it.
We got a taste of it, you know? Maybe at the very end of Route 66, you know, if you've got time to charge, but I don't think it is going to happen. I think you're right.
Sorry, it's a bit of the smooth peanut butter for this map.
Oh, no! I want some crunchy. We'll see whether we're going to get it as we head to Route 66. got a delayed one. At least, you know, the 3 people that want to actually yell about Conbox got to.
It's Struggle Street.
It is.
Kai plays in the second set.
It is. This place is full to the brim with people.
Well, will we see our first Sombra of the series?
Nice shot, Architect. Oh, he thought he landed it.
Tries to hack the head.
He was calling hacks, I think. But that landed, man.
Conbox on defense. Very commonly we see Sombra on defense on Route 66, given the positioning of the big health pack under Big Earls in particular.
Yeah, Dahim actually going to be running that theoretically for Bellum as well if they decide to stick to it. See what the attack composition is going to be here from this squad, as Ryan Zarya would be interesting.
Wait and see. Hex has played the Doomfist already today.
Yeah, I mean, this could certainly be the composition, but not going to be. As they, at the last minute, switch back over to the Winston Diva.
Triple DPS attack. Dahim really wants to start hacking those health packs and gets one on the offensive side. It's a mini win.
Yep. And Hex are going to be diving forward here at the same time. So relying on Lucio for those heals. See whether he's going to be enough.
Wants to play around that health back, but not able to. It's not going to be any harassment. OGE just pulls back. Here's Hexa.
Yeah, actually going to dive forward and grabs Revenge, just picks him off, but might be taken down for it. Operashi going to at least get some vengeance for his other support. And it's going to be Conbox answering back with a bunch more. So the mech going to fall down. CCJ going to be punished for a little bit of over-aggression.
Yeah, when the multi-man dive goes 1-for-1, you can imagine that on the cart they're short-manned, and that's why we saw Conbox picking up a lot more defensive picks and halting the cart for the first time right next to the Big Earl sign.
And it feels like this is a really volatile first point on Route 66. Either it can be a snowball cap really, really fast, or you can see full holds at Big Earls, as Conbox making it look like it could possibly be one of those. There's so many kills, almost a team wipe, as Sansam does have to run the heck away.
And Bellum shifted things away. Hexa jumped onto the Zenyatta, got a bit of percentage, but otherwise just a bit of an eco push for them. They'll have some ultimates, but soon will Conbox as well. EMP used there was what led up to such a clean takedown. It was off screen, but very, very effective.
Well, Asher playing aggressively, actually does end up getting some heals, but doesn't find anyone with that stick. Dahim off on the backline, just looking for revenge. Transcendence actually got out from the Sombra on the side of Bellum.
Got a pick and the Transcendence for free. Here's the EMP.
Yeah, throws the EMP forward, so Conbox in a lot of trouble, and the kills do actually come in afterwards. So nice play from the Sombra to him. Just feels like when he's off the Soldier, even on the Tracer or now on this Sombra, things look better for Bellum.
And it was a bit of a mistake from Conbox because Revenge uses ult to stay alive, but then they did the math and said, okay, well, we have EMP, there's no Transcendence to pop early, even if they see the translocator. Let's just go for it on first go. Don't need to be tricky like Eska was so many times. They commit to it, and now Architect, he's got EMP of his own. Does he have enough dive friends? It seems like he wants to kill Zenyatta.
Well, they are going to be able to take down Hexa very easily. The hack looking for it onto Sansam, but Architect not quite able to find it. Translocator gets himself out. And Marvel able to take down Asher, so good use. Well, just good kill onto Asher just to make sure that he can't harass that backline anymore. CCJ trying to get his work done and is now free to do so without Asher to worry about. And Conbox possibly forced back, but the cart is still not moving.
Respawns will start coming through. They're able to take down the Sombra crucially as well. Dahim close to ultimate, but they lose the Diva mech.
Yeah, and the self-destruct does come in, so Sansam able to grab Clover, but he was already demeched, like you said, and now Bellum able to get more kills, should be able to start moving this card. This Transcendence was thrown in, but should be rewarded for that ult use. Revenge is just taken down off the back end, so decent time being stopped there from Conbox, but in the end it will be that first point completion from Bellum.
Able to run down the clock like you say, but no more than that. Bellum going to push up very quickly as well because of the delayed respawns. Things like hacking health packs in preparation for the cart coming through wasn't available to them. So for now, it's actually going to probably behoove Conbox to play pretty damn defensively or go for an all-in dive because the health pack disadvantage is going to be significant.
Yeah, and Dahim actually going to find the EMP, grabs Revenge and hops himself back with that translocator. CCJ looking for Oporoshi, and there it is. Looks all too easy for them just to pick apart the backline of Conbox.
It's too greedy, I think, Atlas, to commit this hard when the health pack disadvantage is going to be there. Given they didn't have positioning. They will not have a Sombra anymore. Conbox will vary things up. Not going to go for any hit scan, though, so they feel like they're not going to actually be able to use the high ground advantage with how much already Bellum has picked up momentum on the Streets phase.
Yeah, Architect going to switch over to the Doomfist now. And I guess, I mean, if you are just going to throw yourself in there, I mean, the more defensible point is right at the end here.
Well, he dies very, very quickly.
Yeah. Take two.
Conbox's defense left quite a bit to be desired on the Streets phase in particular.
Yeah.
Over on the cart, all alone.
Now, CCJ looks like he's able to do whatever he likes, much like Asher earlier on in this series. Bellum looking very, very good in this Streets phase in Route 66. Now remember, this is match point for Conbox.
No Sombra. They know that they cannot afford to fight around health backs. They were able to get some kills, halted the push from Bellum. They'll be coming back with EMP and Sound Barrier of their own, maybe even 6 ultimates.
Yeah, very, very close.
So Bellum going to have a lot. They got the free meterage, but now it's time to commit.
To him, just looking to try and get that pick. Revenge once again in a bad position as the Orb of Discord does come in.
Doesn't win the 1v1.
Yes, to translocate out as Hex is going to be taken out on the opposite side. Nicely played by Conbox. Not going to get the trade of the Zenyatta's. Now Sound Barrier has to be thrown in. Conbox and Bellum both going to utilize those ultimates there, but Hexa not able to get in. Dahim does throw out the EMP. Is this going to be enough? As Primal Rage is going to take down Architect, who is left there stranded after the EMP comes down. Oh, punch to the head. And OGE is going to get the revenge onto Dahim.
Does that Bellum just tried to be too greedy. They didn't want to commit to all their ults. Ended up using 3 anyway, but didn't have a true EMP initiation. Dahim was poking around the Zenyatta instead of grouping with all the other ultimates the team had. And even though they had a bounty of ults, it's only 20 seconds left and they may not have enough.
And the Hexa delay was just so important there as well. When he made it back to the fight, it was too late to actually invest the Transcendence and try and buy them space to get back in because they just didn't have everyone there. Not a whole lot of pointers yet. Pulse Bomb not going to find anyone there from CCJ. Gonna have to run himself back, but does at least separate the Lucio. This could be important. Finally, Hexa able to utilize that, but Meteor Strike's going to come in. Hexa in trouble, takes a lot of damage, but oh no. Architect can't finish him off. CCJ gets himself the Diva mech, but Architect with a drive-by picks up a double, making himself look good, but immediately silenced by the Diva.
Moments like that lets you know that even on the escape, picking up 2 picks, Power of Doomfist there. Seeing the mech thrown up.
Yep, self-destruct going to come in, but that's going to be the hold. And Conbox. Okay, they need to get their attack run forward, but that is not far that they need to run, and it's often that you will easily get further than that in the Streets phase.
And Bellum are going to be frustrated when they watch that back. That's a sort of point there where even with the fact that we don't have complete information, we can't spectate from all angles, I think what was on screen told the tale of first Dahim being disconnected from the rest of the ult economy, just diving onto a Zenyatta so far away from where the cart was, and then having 5 to 6 ultimates available at the same time, trying to be greedy with them, thinking, okay, we won't get the full cap without having these ultimates for later. They didn't focus on the now, and that's why it's actually a very shallow push, all things considered. And I agree with you, Atlas, it's going to be difficult to defend.
Well, we'll see what Conbox is actually going to bring to the attack here. Is Architect going to switch back on to that Sombra? Bellum going to continue with what they were looking at, but Sansom, interestingly, is at least hovering the Soldier 76.
Some and Bellum in general have had a couple of different approaches today, which has led to, even if they lose here 3-1, demonstrable improvements. They haven't had the hapless time they did on some of the maps against X6. We'll wait and judge the defense, of course.
Yep.
The Sombra certainly going to be there.
Sansom checking out his mate. As he moves away after the point comes in. Nicely done. Hexa says, no, you're not going to meme me in front of everyone.
Chara wants to know what's going on, but that doesn't work unless you're playing.
He's giving away the composition.
He's giving away the Lucio.
Oh, come on, man. It's free information.
You're being slightly facetious.
I am being slightly facetious, Pops. But it's going to be the 2 DPS composition, including the Sombra, which don't necessarily see all the time. Often 3 DPS with Sombra is something that we do see, and was what we saw from Bellum.
Well, DPS defense from Bellum.
Okay, Architect gonna try and win the Sombra battle, doesn't quite. They're just building up ult charge. At least the payload is moving forward. Asher in trouble, but gets that health back very quickly.
Sansum, he's the triple DPS member on Bellum, trying to use the sight lines, does delay the cut for a moment. Nothing to dive on as they're not defending the high ground of Big Earls.
And Conbox just looking for this aggressive dive opportunity that they do have access to. Remember, without a D.Va, things can be very difficult to defend, and Conbox do still have that dive comp option, especially with the heroes that they have.
The problem of getting to where they were defending was difficult because they had to deal with hacked health packs in every route you would take with this Winston dive comp, and they didn't actually set up to go through the high ground, so that's why they have to reform a bit here, Conbox, and you see Architect will be jumping onto the Soldier.
Yep, just to try and at least help out as Dahim going to throw in the EMP and gets himself out. Nicely done. Marvel gets revenge, and they get the backline completely. So both supports removed in trade for that EMP, and you'll take that any day of the week. Dahim already up to 20%.
Great ult economy from the side of Bellum, something they weren't able to do 4 days ago, but doing a lot better here, using one ultimate, getting max value. See what Conbox expect, because we could just see Bellum reform on the top of Big O, something they didn't do before.
Oh, this defense is looking great, and not necessarily what... Oh, okay. Yeah, not going to happen. Excellent. CCJ still able to get some picks, though, as Conbox in trouble. Nicely done, and CCJ has stepped up to the plate here on this defense. Bellum looking good, holding off Conbox's attack time and time again.
Yeah, really inventive, too. They're coming from different angles. This time, CCJ flanking them when Conbox, on the third attack, went to the high ground that previously Bellum was defending in force. CCJ able to poke around, even though the pulse bomb didn't do the work. Combination of the firing did. Here's Asher.
Yep, there's the stick, I believe.
Get anything?
Oh, it's just going to be Transcendence. It's going to eat that one up. Sansum still able to get revenge, though, with his tack visor. He's being punched out of position here. Couldn't exactly get all of the value, but that one pick seems to have been enough, as Bellum still doing work. We've got a minute and a half now for Conbox to get this push forward. We mentioned that full holds can happen around Big Earls, and it's looking like Bellum have an opportunity here against Conbox.
Feels like the rock, paper, scissors on these attacks as you come around the bend has been won again and again by Bellum on defense. Architect used the tack visor on the previous attack. Doesn't have it available, and very little available to Conbox, although Asher.
Yep, sound barrier is there for Bellum as well on the defense, so they do have the upper hand as far as these ults. Clover has got the first pick off, though, as Bellum now throw in the sound barrier, but they already had a man disadvantage. Revenge is going to fall, booped off by Chara. But can Sansum find any more with this tack visor, which is doing a heck of a lot of work? The answer, most certainly, ladies and gentlemen, is yes. Bellum just silence Conbox over and over again. 30 seconds now on the clock.
And it might be that full hold. It might not be point A captured, and we could be going to a second hybrid map, the 5th map of the night. A lot available here for Bellum. They have the EMP that already, as answered pushes before. Conbox still don't have a Transcendence. Feels like they need one of the sound barrier or Transcendence here.
And Dahim's going to throw in the EMP. That's an inexpensive one to invest. They trade 1 for 1, but it's Marvel that falls. Bellum just don't seem to care. They don't need a tank to try and make these things happen. CCJ in a little bit of trouble. Good pulse bomb comes out from Asher, but still the advantage is there for Bellum.
It's shorter runbacks though, so see how much work they can do. Architect's going to come back with the tack visor. No guarantee just yet.
Yep, Transcendence comes down and CCJ gets rid of Oporochi. And here we are, tack visor coming in. Can they get it done? Jumps right on top of this point, looking for the targets. Decent positioning from Bellum to get themselves out of the way, but still, Architect's able to help out, taking out this entire support line. And Conbox somehow miraculously get themselves onto this point. Primal Rage comes in from Marvel, but that is going to be this cart continuing to move forward.
No D.Va for a lot of that. That meant the tack visor got maximum value. Will there be a last-second contest? Soldier can't really drop down alone. Okay, here's the Winston.
Okay, they are going to dive in. So Bubble is up. There's the Pulse Bomb coming in, and Clover falls over. Conbox, I mean, a little bit late on the sound barrier, but they still had it, and double Pulse Bomb kill comes in for Asher, of course. He's the one to be the hero for Conbox. as they're looking for this capture. They do get it eventually, and now 2.5 minutes to push forward.
If it could get value out of the D.Va on defense, it usually can buy time. And Conbox, against expectation, are able to take point A, and they don't have that much further to go, Atlas, even if they have no ults to throw at Bellum.
Yeah, this is the thing. It doesn't even really matter that overtime was gained.
Architect's actually camping the big health pack spawn, wanting to one-shot the Sombra. No sign of Sombra, though.
Yeah, I'm actually biding his time, looking for the EMP here in this backline. Decent position, try and get that one done, but CCJ, he's going to be the one to draw first blood. Marvel once again falling over, and Winston play has left a little bit to be desired towards the end of this. Conbox continuing to play aggressively and get the kills that they're looking for.
Dahem hesitated because he knew he didn't have enough people diving in. They didn't get value out of it. I think Conbox is going to win this.
Yeah, staggered kills here for this Conbox lineup. Architect still with the tack visor, and Revenge, he gets the follow-up Dahem kill towards the very end. Look at this cart. It's moving straight towards victory here for Conbox. The 3-1, so close down barrier. Everything now invested, but Marvel pops. CCJ, nice pickoff onto Architect. Still hadn't used the tack visor, as Asher right here around the back. We're so close. 1 minute remains for Conbox to push so little distance. It's only a meter, and Conbox get the kills, they get the wipe, and they get the cart moving to victory. 3-1 to Conbox.
The victory expected, the manner of victory disappointing for Conbox Spirit, but they take it down, they win their first series. With 3 new members, they couldn't go for the flawless 3-0. It wasn't able to come through. We had our first 4-map series of the week, but they end up being stronger. Bellum will wonder how they weren't able to claim this particular map. They had a good start, you'll remember, on attack, and then mismanaged their ultimates in the streets phase. The defense was even better on the side of Bellum, but it all came tumbling down right at the end there with 30 seconds left on the timer. The overtime push into the comfortable claim of Escort. And your winners, Conbox. No longer Spirit, no longer T6, but with the first victory of the season.
Yeah, and there are still smiles on the faces of this Conbox roster, so even though it's a 3-1, when we could have potentially expected the 3-0 from this team that is, at least by name, been